Have you ever had to call in a water main break, and did you do it successfully? Today I'm going to be doing my After SAS series, which is a direct response to my Critical SAS series where I talk about new makeup releases. And what I do in this video is I look in my makeup collection and try to find some things that are like the stuff that's coming out just to help myself and help encourage you to look at your makeup collection before deciding to make a purchase, just to see if you might already have something like it. Let's get started. I am going to start with a primer unrelated. This is the Sisley Blur Expert. I'm just going to put it on my nose. Yeah, this morning, if you're new here, I live in like the basement of my house, of the house I live in, I guess is a better way to phrase it. I woke up and the sump pump was like draining a lot. So the sump pump is really loud, and when it goes off, it does normally stir me, but it went off and then went off again and then went off again, which is rare. If it's raining really hard, it will go off like once, maybe every hour if it's like raining really hard. It was pumping out stuff like once every minute or two. It was like a lot. It was pumping out a lot of water, and I thought, something right. And I like went to my front yard, water coming down the hill, coming into my yard. It was 4 a.m. and I was like, there has to be an emergency line to call. I had to call 2 water companies because they kept asking me for my billing information, and my landlord handles our water bill. And at 4 a.m., one of the people I talked to on the phone was like, can we talk to your landlord? I was like, no, he's asleep. Like, I don't think this has anything to do with my bill. I was like, there's water rushing down my street. I just need someone to know who isn't me. And I guess what? I didn't go back to bed, and I'm tired and cranky. Ritual Defee has released their Creature of Light Shimmer Goo product, and even in Critical SAS I talked about it being very similar to Auric Glow Lust, not in texture, but like the idea is similar. Like, you can use it as a glowy primer, you can use it as a glowy highlight on top. And so I thought today I could use it as a primer. I actually haven't used this as a primer in quite some time, because normally I just use a very little bit of it and I apply it to the tops of my cheeks, or I just like prime my whole cheek area with it. I really like this product. There's nothing wrong with this product. I think the only thing that would entice me about the new Creature of Lights is that they have that one shade that's a little bit more blue, and I have been enjoying like a more iridescent look as of late. And I tried an older version of that product, and it also was pretty, well, it wasn't like overbearing, it was just like a very soft glow. So I really like that as an idea. My Glow Lust, which is a product I really love and I do use quite a bit, I think I like just passed the halfway mark not that long ago, and I've had this for almost 2 years. So it's been around the block. It's been in my makeup collection for some time. I'm only halfway through it. Buying that, while it would be exciting and fun and new, would also distract me from using this, which is something that can use a little bit more love and I could spend some time working on. And that's what I'm going to choose to do instead of buying that. That's not to say I might buy it, like if I choose to, not even to review for my channel. I am like genuinely curious about it, and something that I always want to keep with me. I never want to have only PR being what's coming in for me to try. Even if it's not something fresh to review, I just want to keep my love of makeup and my interest in new releases to be kind of healthy. Like, I don't want it to be, I don't want to feel like I'm just reviewing PR. That doesn't feel genuine to me. I talked about Charlotte Tilbury's new foundation stick, and it has a lot of buzzwords that I really like. But because it has a lot of buzzwords I really like, it means I have foundation products that are gonna do what that product can do already in my makeup collection. That description reminded me of the Glossier Skin Tint. I have the shade G11, and this is something that I consider to be like one of the most blurring products in my makeup collection. This has a very light coverage, which is what the foundation stick promised, and I have this already. And this was a gift from a friend, my friend Cam, and they gave it to me for my birthday, and I haven't even really made that much progress on it. Why would I buy something new whenever I have like a product that essentially is supposed to do the same thing? Could I, as a makeup channel where I sometimes review makeup, can I like justify purchasing that for review? I can, but I also keep that in mind too. So like, keeping in mind that I also want to review makeup that's new. I also want to keep in mind that like I don't have to. If there's one part of my collection that I don't feel like I'm really on the hunt for anymore, I would say foundation products is something that I've nailed down quite well. Oh God, there's just hair everywhere. The thing about growing out my hair has been that the hair is like longer and sticks to my face, and I don't even know how, because I still have baby bangs and this is shaved, but somehow long hair is falling on my face, and it is getting pretty infuriating. When I had Father's Day dinner with my family, my mom did look at my hair and say, well, what's going on with your hair? I don't know, just trying to say hello. It was the first thing she said. I'm just gonna breeze through concealer and contour and I guess bronzer too, because I don't think I have anything to relate those back to. So I guess you could just say I'm in a crabby little mood. I have been watching Sex and the City with Tiff, that had been something that they were watching on their own, and we had been watching Degrassi together. But the one night they were wrapping up an episode, and then we just like kind of kept watching it. Like, you know, it just kept going, and so we just kept watching it together. And I haven't watched that show in maybe like 15 years, and wow, my opinions about the people on that show have really changed. If you follow me on Instagram at hautemesstom, you already saw that I was like, Carrie is like literally like the worst character. And just because I think Carrie is the worst character, like one of the worst people, I can think she's a bad person, but still think she's like an interesting character. But the last time I watched Sex in the City, at that point in my life, I had not had like any relationships that were like meaningful in any way. And I will say that watching it now, it has really forced me to start reflecting on some relationship stuff. And I've been having nightmares about my ex, which is so cute. Like, I love that. So that's been great. But if Carrie's bad, Big's even worse than Carrie. Like, he's terrible as well. Like, he's pretty mad. Why is he the way he is? We just got, spoiler alert, I guess if you've never watched Sex and the City, we just got through the whole thing where like they were both cheating on their new partners with each other, and it was like what are we doing? Like, what is this? And like, listen, non-monogamy is a thing and valid. It's not something that I participate in because I barely have the patience for myself, let alone one other person, let alone more than one other person. You know, like I just don't have it to do. I've never done that. Like, I've never like cheated on someone like that, but like it gives me the ick. If you're not happy in your relationship, just communicate that before you start doing something. Anyway, we don't have to have like conversations about the ethics of monogamy in my comment section today. So for blush, I think we talked about a couple different blushes, but I specifically talked about the new Rhode blushes that people were pretty excited about. I don't feel like my audience was excited about them, but I think in general, the general makeup population was pretty excited about the release of them. So I looked into my makeup collection and I pulled out, I guess, the high-end version of what I think that those are going to be. This is from Westman Atelier. This is the shade Mimi, and it's a beautiful cream blush. Mimi, while it's definitely like just like kind of a nude blush, it has a little bit of nuance to it. It's like a warm beigey pink, and it's really gorgeous. I really like it, and this is why I own this blush. Is it's a really unique shade. I feel like when brands release nude blushes, oftentimes they feel way more pink than this. Like, there is of course a little bit of pink in it, but I think on my cheeks it just is like more of a beige as opposed to being like pink. But I feel like major brands often, their blushes just end up being like a pink, like a rosewood, or some kind of like what they like a rosy nude. And it's like, that's not what I'm looking for in a blush. That's dime a dozen. My biggest critique of the Rhode blushes, besides them kind of looking like a chode, is that the shade range was like just not super inspired. Like, it was just like every blush release has those blush shades in it, and it's just fine, and it's just not for me. I don't think I have any new powders to talk about, so I'm just going to use my regular powders. Another really annoying thing about Carrie, sorry, this is what I'm watching, and this is my thoughts, okay? And so we're just gonna have to like work through them together. But you know what's so interesting? It wasn't like my dream was like about like my ex cheating on me, which like honestly, I don't even know if I have clarity on whether or not that actually happened to me. Like, I think it did, but like honestly, I'm not even sure. And it's okay, I don't need to know. It's in such an absurd way, like made me like miss him a little bit. And like, what the hell is that about? Like, I'm just sitting here minding my own business watching Sex in the City, and then sometimes Carrie says things that resonate with me, and I'm like, I don't want you to say things that I resonate with. Do you see all this hair? It just keeps falling on my face. Why is this hair? Like, why is this happening to me? Where is this hair coming from? It's not like there's hair on my face all day, every day. Like, where is it coming from? What is happening? Why is there just so much hair? At least when it's long, I'll be able to like grab it, but whenever the whole hair gets stuck to your face, oh my god. And Carrie also does this thing, which is like, you know, very the show, you know, it's like the kind of the whole thing of the show. Like, and I'm left to wonder, I wondered if Samantha's point was valid. And it's just like, I know that's her writing her column, which we need to talk about how everyone knows about the column, even the people that Carrie dates. And then the people that Carrie dates go on to do really terrible stuff to her, with her, etc. And then are like feel bamboozled when they read her column later. And it's like, her column is called Sex in the City. She has been writing about sex and the city for years. You knew who she was when you got into it. Or if you started dating her and you found out that she writes a sex column, I don't know. Also, she kind of like whistleblows this politician's kink. It's like so crazy. This show's so crazy. That show is so crazy. I remember when I was growing up, because I'm, you know, a product of the 90s. I remember all these women being like, I don't want to be Miranda. I don't want to be Miranda. Justice Miranda. She's the only one that has a solid head on her shoulders. That's not to say that Miranda doesn't make mistakes and doesn't do stupid things. She obviously does. Also, I feel like I need to be very clear that I'm only talking about the seasons of Sex and the City. I'm not talking about the movies, and I'm not talking about And Just Like That. I'm sorry, I'm putting something on my face that I want to talk about. I'm just feeling very passionate about Sex and the City today. I talked about Patrick Ta's new highlighter duo, which has a balmy highlight and a powder highlight, and it's not going over well. I have now since watched some reviews on that product, and people are not digging it. I already have some balmy highlights. I have a lot of cream highlighters, my preferred kind of thing. But I think the thing it's probably closest to in my collection, the balm at least, is this is the Balm Essentiel from Chanel, and this is in the shade Drage. And I'm just tapping it on my cheeks. I really like this. It is a balm, and it gives you like just the softest glow. There's not a lot of sparkle in here, and I'm guessing, based on what I've heard from people who have been trying it, is it sounds like the sparkle in the balm of the Patrick Ta highlighters is where people are really running into issues. But there are some very sheer and few and far between sparkles in here, but it's like you can't even really see them when they're on your face. You have to kind of do like a thick swatch to see some of the sparkles. And like, I just feel like, and I could top it with a powder highlighter, but not to spoil anything, I don't have any powder highlighters anymore. Details to come on that. And also, that's not even the way Patrick Ta wants you to do it. Patrick Ta wants you to put the powder on first and then top it with the cream, which, whatever. If that's his way he's doing it, let him. There are like some podcast episodes I recorded with my ex, and I just like listened to them, and that helped. It didn't make me feel sad. It just was like, oh, whatever, because sometimes, and this is just like honest tea moment, I think sometimes when we're out of relationship, we just tend to remember like the bad part and how it ended, and we can't reflect on the good things. And so like, it was kind of helpful to like listen to that contextually and like hear us having a good time, which was nice, right? And like, I also obviously, of course, remember a lot of good things that happened. I don't want to live too much in that space either, because it's like, what if I don't want to text him, or I don't want to call him, I don't want to see him in real life. I did that a couple months ago, I guess, this way, where I saw him at the Chapel Roan concert, and that did not feel good. I didn't like that. I'm romanticizing the past, I guess, a little bit. Before we get to my face, I actually brought over the In Beauty Project Bronze Body Glow Body Oil, and I figured we could just put some on my shoulders. I don't know. They also sent me this brush. This is like not a super obvious body oil when it comes to shimmers. Like, I don't even know that you're gonna notice that like anything is happening. And I'm also probably not gonna like put a ton on either, because it's Friday night. I'm not going anywhere, because again, I've been up since before 4 a.m. because of a water main break that I had to report. It's like no one believed me when I reported that either. It was just like, I kept calling people and they were just like, okay. And I was like, okay. And then at 5 a.m., a firefighter knocked on my door and was like, how flooded is your basement? Which like wasn't a joke, by the way. Don't imagine a scenario where it was like a super hot fireman asking me if my basement was flooded. A lot of the water had gotten into our yard, but again, we have a sump pump, so that was good. And also, if the basement flooded, my whole life would be over. Everything is down here. Yeah, a little bit of a glow. I think you can see it on camera. I can't really tell. But it's like also really subtle in real life. So there's just like a little bit of a glow. But what I like about this, and I have tested it just to know, not that I was like gonna be like, I'm gonna hardcore review this on my channel, is that it doesn't seem to get everywhere. Like, it doesn't say super tacky, like it's super oily, and like I don't feel like glitter gets all over everything, which is also nice. I wouldn't say it's 100% transfer proof, but I would say it's mostly transfer proof. Like, I don't think it would stain a white garment, because it's not really like a tanning oil. It's like, it's shimmer goof for your body. For eyeshadow, I really only talked about the MAC Pride collection. And so then I was like, well, I'll just use my most colorful palette that I have in my collection right now. And it's this one. This is the Mighty Monsters palette from Annette and Odin's Eye. And I figured that this could be my little color moment. Although I will say I was wearing a pretty colorful look in Critical Sass. All matte too, which is, I don't even know who I was in that video. Like, what was I doing? An all matte colorful look. I'm gonna prime with the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. Do you ever just pick up a brush and you're like, what did I use you for last? Because I do that quite a bit, and it makes me a little bit nervous. I'm gonna, this might be too dark to set that with. Maybe it's not. We'll find out. It's a little dark. We'll just also blended up to be a transition shade as well. Last weekend really like set the tone for like a bad week. And not that even my weekend last weekend was bad. Well, I guess it kind of was. I messed up my back. I went out dancing and like didn't run into anyone except for, if you're watching, I did run into one of you, but it's because I recognized you, not because you recognized me. But I went up and said hello. And that was nice, but my Uber was already on the way to pick me up, so we did not chat for very long. And they were with their friends, and they went inside and went and go dancing. And I was like, I'm gonna go home. And I tried to be brave and bold. Like dancing by myself at the thing was not that bad. Like I was fine with that. It's not the vibe I was going for. And I was so tired, and it was like, I could have just not gone, like that could have been what happened. I could have just chosen to not go. And then I don't know if I would have been happier, but I would have felt like I didn't waste my time. I don't know why I feel like I wasted my time, but it does kind of feel like that. I'm gonna take a purple, even though the rest of my face is warm. And I'm just gonna use that as my crease, I guess. Out here too. As I'm filming this, it's the day that the Lorde version of Girls So Confusing by Charli XCX came out. And for those of you who are not in the lore, let me invite you in a little bit, because I know not all of you are Charli XCX fans, and you're probably like, why does Tom keep talking about Charli XCX? The song Girls So Confusing was heavily rumored to be about Lorde when the album came out a couple weeks ago. And then they dropped a remix of the song together. It's quite good. It's quite insightful too. It's like, and if it really is about them, that's like actually so cool that they like did that together. And I think it also kind of speaks to a lot of people's relationships with people, where like you may not have a lot of conversations with a person, or you might think that they think one thing about you, and the reality is like they have a lot going on in their life, and you just don't know about it because they haven't told you. And it's like, that's the reason that they're dodging you, etc., etc., etc. But basically they handled their beef on the track. But that's not it. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of Marina. Marina and Charli had beef in 2015 or 2016. And actually, me and Cam spoofed it. I don't know if it was earlier this year or if it was late last year, where we had similar thumbnails. But basically, Marina tweeted after Charli released some photo shoot images that fruit looks familiar, but it was spelled like her album, which was like lots of rainbows on it. Anyway, I'll just post a picture up here. So this happened that many years ago. And then I feel like we've all just been left to wonder. And I was left to wonder as I type on my computer. We were all left to wonder if that ever got resolved. Today, as I'm recording, Marina retweets Charli's tweet about the Lorde version of Girl So Confusing, says it's really good, and congratulates them both, and congratulates Charli specifically on Brat, which it's like nature is healing. Charli and Marina are on good terms, and Charli responded. It was like very positive, and like, I don't know, I'm gonna cry. I don't know. I've had a long day. I've had a long day, and like I like care about these people, but I don't care about these people. Like I'm not really one for like being in celebrities' business, but like they went on tour together back in the day, Electra Heart era of Marina, and like they were so cool and cute together, and they released actually a great song that like I don't know if you can buy it on iTunes, but they released a song together, and it was like a free download, and it was such a good song. And so that feels good. Maybe there will be the collab. Okay, that's what I want. I want it. It can be on M6. It could just be a one-off single, or if Charli does some EP work again, maybe, I don't know, show me to me, Rachel, show me to me, please. And it doesn't have to be that, right? Obviously, I'm just happy that they seemingly, and they don't have to be on the best terms either. Like, I just love that happened today. I needed that small win today. Everyone's gonna think I'm crazy after that. It's so weird, what's going on just in the world. Like, I feel like I have constant whiplash from feeling euphoric joy and just feeling abysmal about what also is going on in the world. By the way, there's a family that I have linked to their GoFundMe to help them get out of Gaza. Please check that link down below. And there are other families you can donate to through Operation Olive Branch. Just check in my description box down below. So like thinking about what's going on in the world, and then also being happy, and then also being like, I had to be up at 4 a.m. and it's just like, what is going on? Like, how are we even, like, what is going on? I would like less things. And sad news, I like re-downloaded Grindr. Don't love that for me. Although I don't really use it the way you're supposed to. I didn't use it as God intended. I mostly open it up to see if people will talk to me, not the other way around. I don't reach out to people because honestly, my experience with Grindr up until this point has not been great, you know, historically for me. So like, why would I reach out to someone? Because oftentimes someone will reach out to me just to say ugly, fat, faggot. It's like, baby, I'm just trying to exist. Now, I use the F slur, but I don't try really hard not to, I'm not perfect either. But the thing about Grindr, I think that if you've never been on Grindr, if you don't know about Grindr, is that like anyone can message you. You do not have to match with people before they can talk to you. So if your presence just bothers someone, if they like open the app and they see you and they're like, that person's ugly and I can tell them that they're ugly and I'm gonna tell them that they're ugly, then they're just gonna tell you that you're ugly, which happens to me quite a bit. And that doesn't like really hurt my self-esteem anymore, but it is just jarring. It's like, okay, I didn't sign on here to, you know, sleep with you, person with no face on your profile. Also, I'm on like normal dating apps again too, but I don't want to be on those either. And like I had a farm to table crush thing that I was, you know, interested in for a second, but then husband was too hot and cold and I just was like, I don't think I have a crush on you anymore. And that wasn't like big and dramatic. It was just like, you know, an internal thing. And it's like, ugh, now I'm bored because I don't have a crush. I'm just whining to you in this video. I would apologize, but I'm tired and I'm cranky. And that's just my truth. I was scrolling through TikTok last night and I came across one Tati Westbrook doing a TikTok live where she was selling Jason Wu products and I was so confused. I don't keep up with Tati, but like what was she doing? I mean, I know what she was doing. I just told you what she was doing, but it's like, what? The last time I touched down on Tati, she was like drinking beef fat or something like that. I don't know. I might have that wrong. I'm going to throw on eyeliner and mascara. I'm going to use the eyeliner in Ash from Victoria Beckham and the mascara in Lash Clash, the YSL Lash Clash mascara. Go! It's so confusing sometimes. There's another song on Brat that's pretty similarly themed to Girls So Confusing, called Sympathy is Just a Knife. And people think that's about Taylor Swift. Oh my God. The drama. And that one has no remix. What? The gag. What if there was a remix that came out with Taylor Swift? Girls So Confusing was like also rumored to be about Marina, but that didn't make sense to me because like they hadn't really interacted since This Fruit Looks Familiar. So it was just like, they can't possibly still be beefing about that, and they aren't. In Critical Sass, I talked about how Lisa Eldridge was releasing a tinted lip balm, and everyone was like, Tom, you should try this tinted lip balm. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna try the tinted lip balm because I have the YSL Candy Glaze, and I have it in the shade Scenic Brown, which looks really similar to the one that I would have bought from Lisa Eldridge if I bought it. Goodness, I haven't worn this in a long time, actually. I forgot how much I like this color. I don't know that anything I have on my face really goes today, but I like it. It's a cute little look. That wraps up the video. I feel like I wanted to talk more about Sex and the City and complain about my life than I wanted to actually make it an after sass, but I was inspired to use some things I haven't used in a while, whether or not I was complaining. Auric Glow Lust was a joy to use. I always enjoy it. The Glossier Skin Tint, I think my skin looks great. Always love Mimi from Westman Atelier. I really like the Balm Essentiel from Chanel. I mostly use it off camera before, like I don't really use it on camera that much. Oh, I wanted to end with this. In Critical Sass, I talked about how Flirt was releasing a new fragrance and it was described as a skin fragrance. And I have Salt from Ellis Brooklyn, which I don't think is gonna smell anything like Soft Services or whatever. It's not soft, whatever the one from Flirt was called. I don't think it's gonna smell like that, but this is a skin scent I really like. It's very, you're on the beach, the sun is setting, and there's a party happening down the beach that you're on your way to, and you're with your lover, and you guys are gonna go dance the night away and probably get up to some woohooing after. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with my tired ass. So if you are new to my channel and you made it to the end, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ask one more favor of you. If you could please subscribe to the channel. There's just a button. You can click it. I post videos about 3 times a week, and those videos are focused on helping myself and help you be more discerning about the makeup that you're purchasing, a lot of reflecting on past makeup purchases, a lot of talking about what my makeup collection looks like. You know, that's kind of just like what I do here, so I'd love to have you subscribe. I also do fashion content and I do fragrance content. You can check that out below. I also have Patreon and channel memberships. You can join one or the other or neither. Whatever you choose to do, I love that. But over there, you get some additional content. I make a weekly playlist, which I think I need to update today as I'm saying that. So I will do that. It'll be updated before the video goes live, I'm sure. Yeah, so check that out. But if you can't or you don't want to, that's great as well. No pressure from me. Remember to check out the links down below for Operation Olive Branch. Sorry, I'm like so tired and so out of it. And that's gonna wrap up my video. Remember to follow your hoe and you'll find me. I'll see you in a very soon video. Someone said in my last video that I said go forth, tits out too seriously. So go forth, tits out. I just want a cocktail. I just got paid by Big YouTube today. So maybe I might have some White Claws delivered. Man, oh man.